You've just delivered the most inspiring mentor text lesson of your career. The room is silent, the creative energy is palpable, and you finally say those magic words, "Now go write." Within 10 seconds, 3 kids are sharpening pencils that aren't even dull. One is asking if they can write in neon yellow crayon, and another raises their hand to ask, "How many sentences does it have to be?" Teaching writing is a beautiful, messy journey of turning "I don't know what to say" into "I can't stop writing." It's where we see their personalities truly shine, sometimes through a heartfelt poem and sometimes through a 3-page persuasive essay on why lunch should be 90 minutes long.
This is Teachers on the Loose.
Hi everyone, welcome to Teachers on the Loose, the podcast where we turn teacher tales into belly laughs and life lessons. I'm Kelsey.
I'm Kristen.
I'm Celeste.
And I'm Allison.
Today we're diving into the world of teaching writing, from the hilarious first drafts to the moments where a student finally finds their voice. So let's start with a check-in. On a scale of 1 to 10, how writer's blocked is your brain this week? Like 10, extremely blocked, can't do a thing. 1, not blocked at all, like ready, raring to go.
Well, the brainstorming process, you have to brainstorm all the ideas first, and then you pick one and you start writing on it. So I would say I am very blocked because I have a whole page of things that I need to get done, but I don't know which one to start with, and so I'm just spinning my wheels. So I would say that I am a 10, very blocked.
Oh. I am going to go with a 3.7.
Okay.
So you're not blocked.
Nope, I'm not
Wow.
blocked. Where Allison is right now, that was me Friday morning. I did a brain dump of all the things I had to get done. And my to-do list was a whole page, like a whole page of just things that needed to get done. And at the end of the day, there were only 3 things left on that list that did not get done.
I love
That transferred to next week. And so I'm feeling like that work day was super productive, and I'm so thankful for the time.
I love that.
Yes, Friday we had a PD day. I met with the team and we got some planning done and some stuff ready for the next few weeks of school. And so I felt really good this weekend and I got some free time. I went shopping. I went grocery shopping with my husband. He loves when I go grocery shopping because I'm like, ooh, I need this, I need that. And I'm always like, add to cart. And he's like, oh my gosh. I'm like, you're so happy I'm here, right? And so our bill is always a little bit higher when I go shopping with him. And then my daughter wanted to go shopping at one of the malls here around our house. And it was just fun hanging out with a teenage girl in a teenage girl shop with lots of other teenagers buying tons of stuff. And then she hands me 2 pairs of jeans and she had a stack of clothes in her hand because she has a job and so she makes a lot of money. But she's like, I better stop now because this is going to get really expensive. Hey, do you mind buying the 2 jeans for me?
Oh, gosh.
And I was just having fun in that moment and I was spending
said
time
yes.
with her. And so, yeah, $140 later, I walked out of the store with 2 new jeans for her.
Well, good for her.
Yeah.
What did
she
you get,
good.
Kristen?
I got time with my daughter.
Best
Priceless.
gift ever.
Yeah, and then she was super tired because she had to get up early. So then she was grouchy the whole way home. So that was fun. And then she took a nap, but it was fun. So I think I'm at like a 5.
I am not blocked, so I am
Lucky.
I am at, I'd say like a 4. I had a really great day, got a lot of things checked off of my list, and had some really great team meetings, and kind of excited for some next steps with some teams. So feeling good.
So before we get to the questions, can we just call it out and be like, why is writing such a difficult topic, not just for students, but for teachers too? Because when we were getting ready to do this episode, I had this pit of like, writing.
I think that was my exact reaction when we now do our planning through text messages. No, but when we were like brainstorming,
Yeah.
and somebody said, let's do writing. And I think my response was UGH. I mean, yes, great. Sounds good.
I had a different reaction, and I think I was the one that suggested writing because I've recently done a lot of research and a lot of training on writing. And so now I have a totally different perspective on it because I have a lot more like resources and tools in my tool belt right now that I feel more confident in supporting teachers with writing, which I haven't felt in the past, right? Like
Maybe the teachers should get that training.
Weird suggestion.
I'm just
weird
teasing.
suggestion.
Yeah.
I'm just teasing.
I know.
No, I'm just teasing.
I agree though.
I'm being
I
funny.
think there has been a lack of like resources and support around writing, and it is a super tricky subject to teach well and to get students to feel motivated and understand like how to write a good sentence, how to write a good paragraph. It's very tricky, and it's just tough for students. There's a lot of cognitive demands placed on them, from just like knowing how to form letters to actually physically writing to being able to come up with your ideas.
The cognitive demand is very heavy on students
Yeah.
when they have to write, because it's not like you were talking about. It's not just the letter formation, but it's also like I have to remember the conventions. They have capitalization and punctuation and putting the spaces where they need to be and all of that. But then also like the content of the what am I supposed to write? And then the structure on top of that. Like, oh, do I have a topic sentence? Do I have supporting details? Do I have a concluding sentence? On top of learning about the genre. Of like, oh, okay, I'm writing a how-to, or I'm writing a letter, or I'm writing an informational piece, or I'm writing a personal narrative, or so there's so much that they have to think about at one time, and their grammar. And sometimes some of our students, I mean, when you think you're only 7 years old and you've been talking for fluently for maybe 5 of those years, you're still learning how to speak. And now we're expecting that to be in written form. So sometimes grammar is a hard thing for them to master as well. So there's so much that goes into writing.
And that's why you have to trick them and say, this is so much fun, you guys. You do a fun story, or for me, we're doing a how-to writing. And so for Read Across America, Dr. Seuss, One Fish, Two Fish, I made Jello, the blue Jello, with Swedish fish. So that's our how-to writing. So we gotta kind of trick them into this is so much fun. Have them also have that great attitude, like, ooh, now I get to write. But how do we do that? How do we get that?
It goes back to the 6 phases of learning, like that connection. You have to get them hooked and interested in what you're doing. Otherwise, there's no buy-in. But Kelsey, your point of there not being a solid resource for teachers is so true.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in the district for a while now. And I feel like in those years that we've been here, we have switched writing curriculums or programs at least 5 times. So if you think like every other year we're doing something different and not being trained in it. And so it's just a matter of, well, I think we do it this way. Nope, now we do it this way.
And here's the problem I've seen with a lot of those. They all jump to like having the students write a narrative, write an opinion piece, but we don't start with how do you form a good sentence? How do you form a good complete sentence and help students get better at that in order to write any type of piece they can? But you have to start at the basics of like forming a complete sentence.
Exactly. And then here's the other thing too with writing is that there's a writing curriculum that goes with our reading curriculum. There's a writing curriculum that goes with our science curriculum. You could go any direction and make it interdisciplinary with whatever, because you're writing, you need to have content to write about. So you could easily tie it in with any of your content. So then it's like you get pulled in between different genres at times, and sometimes that muddies the water a little bit.
But no matter the curriculum, the standards don't change. And
No.
so that's, I think, where things get muddy is we try so hard to make the curriculum fit when
Right.
really it's pause. What are the standards that these kids need to know by the end of the year? And then how can I use this curriculum tool to help kids achieve that? And I think
Right.
that's been the piece that's been missing. So often we focus on reading or math as our content of focus, and writing just hasn't been an emphasis, to be honest, in a while.
Yeah.
When really writing is so important to students' like comprehension, and they can show their comprehension of reading through writing.
Yeah.
Right. And it's an important part to help students process what they're learning.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a bummer that it's always been on the back burner.
Right.
Well, and you think about science of learning, right? If I can explain it in my own words,
Yeah.
then you know that it's in your long-term memory. You know you've got it. But yeah, the amount of cognitive demand that it takes to be able to summarize in your head, remember all the things, Allison, that you talked about, get it on paper, it takes a lot. So how do we get them there, people?
I think too, I was just going to say, going back to the, like about the curriculum and how it isn't, like the standards are the standards. The problem though is that if you're jumping from your science curriculum to your HMH curriculum to, you know, to fit the different things, the structure is different. So like, I feel like we need to have one structure that we stick to so that it's consistent for students to be able to learn, at least in primary, so that they have a consistent way to learn how to write, so that it's not confusing to them when they go from one structure. Like one curriculum might be having them jump right into a narrative.
Yeah.
But another curriculum might be like, okay, now we're going to be talking about the different types of sentences. And then we're going to jump into something, you know, whatever. So it's hard. Like we need to have a scope and sequence for the students and have them learn writing systematically and explicitly and then use it in our content areas.
And I think that's where our years of teaching and our experience kind of jumps in, because with our reading curriculum, it was for our first writing lessons in kindergarten, it was writing a narrative. And we're like, they don't even know how to write all their letters yet.
Right. That's too much.
Yeah. So the story, though, that we had, I think it was like a scribble story or something. And it kind of really stressed to the kids that writing is just you talking on paper. And a scribble is kind of like a word. So it's kind of like symbols or pictures or something like that to help them to kind of understand that this is the beginning stages of writing. But then with our teacher judgment and writing a narrative, we're like, how about we just start with the foundations or the basics of a sentence, a who and a did what. And so that's where we started with our writing. We didn't follow, hey, let's write a narrative, because they're like, I don't even know what you're saying right now, 4 and 5 year olds. So we started with, other than handwriting, we started with I am 5 or I like pizza, really simple sentences like that.
Which you could do because you have enough background knowledge and you've been teaching for a while. But what about teachers who don't have that experience?
Yeah.
And how do you get them to understand the importance of starting small?
Yeah.
So hopefully, as a baby teacher or a new teacher, you are on a team that will be like, hold up, we got to teach these kids how to use a capital letter at the beginning of a sentence. We don't need to jump into an informational essay.
I think my advice would be incorporate writing into your daily day and connect it to a content. So have them write something about whatever the science lesson or write something about the story, but give them feedback along the way. So if you're in the beginning of the year, start maybe with handwriting and give them feedback on their handwriting, and then maybe move to punctuation, and then focus your feedback and have them write every day.
Which I love that idea, and I think every teacher should incorporate that. But it goes back to what we talked about in a couple episodes, when time gets crunched and when you feel like, oh my gosh, there's too much. I feel like writing gets pushed to the side because it takes a long time. Like if you were to ask kindergartners to write a sentence, how much time does that typically take?
20 minutes.
Yeah. And if you asked your second graders to write a sentence or 3 sentences.
The problem is that you're going to have one student that takes 5 minutes to write a whole paragraph, and it's going to take 20 minutes for one student to write one sentence. Yeah. The gap gets so spread out by the time they're in second grade with stamina, because a lot of their personality is now even in second grade they'll start saying well, I'm just not a good writer, and so we have to sometimes go back and change their mindsets too in second grade. So there's just a lot to it.
Yeah, well, and I think it's really a K-5 thing that needs to shift, right? Or K-12 really, but for our sake, K-5, because like in kindergarten, you start with handwriting and that's your main focus. And maybe they're practicing developing sentences orally, right?
Yeah.
And then you keep progressing up and focusing on handwriting in K1. So that way, when they are in second grade, the cognitive demand of the writing isn't as large because they have mastered it in K1, right? And I think that would support the upper grades to be able to write longer and more things.
Well, and I reminded my second graders just the other day, we were talking about in math how we have to label our answers. So if you're doing a math question and it asks Johnny has 26 cents and Sally has 22 cents, your answer has to have the word cents in it, because I don't know if you're talking about dollars or cents or Skittles or socks or whatever, right? You have to label it. And I was like, you guys have to get into the habit of it. Just like when you started in kindergarten, you didn't know to capitalize the first letter in your name. And now, how many of you have to stop and think like, ooh, I have to go back and capitalize my letter? It becomes a habit. And so we need that to be more fluent in more things than just the first letter in their name. Like, we need to be making sure that they have opportunity to practice and make all of the writing conventions more of a habit than just always being that cognitive demand on them. And the only way to get that to become a habit is to give them that practice every day.
Yep, even like simple things. For example, I have a friend that will have a writing topic journal entry for the day, and it could just be something simple like write about your favorite color, and then just a few sentences. Getting that flow and building that stamina is really important. And so having that incorporated into your day, because yes, we do push writing to the side a little bit, just like science and social studies, So we need to find ways to just plop it in. If it's just 5 minutes, just try to do that.
Okay, that was super serious.
I
Let's
was
lighten
just
it
going
up.
to say,
Ready?
I was just
No.
going to say,
We
we
were
need to
laughing.
start having
Here we go.
fun.
So, yes, writing is hard. It's so important. We need to do more. But I know, I was just looking for some funny pictures because kids write the funniest
Oh my gosh.
things. And so I would love to know, what is a hilarious thing that a kid wrote in their journal or something that happened in writing that you want to share?
I have 3 things over the years that keep coming to my mind. One happened just the other day. Our sight words, or our high frequency words that they have to know how to spell. It's not just being able to read it, but they have to spell the words. The one was high and the other one was great. And so the first sentence this child wrote was, "You are so high." And the next one said, "Great, come with me." And it just struck me funny because I'm sure she's thinking like, "You're on the swing. Wow, you are so high." And then the next one was like, "Great, come with me." And it was probably like just a random sentence, right? But for me, living in Colorado, I did not go with like a swing idea in the first, because I have a 40-something-year-old brain living in Colorado. So when I thought, "You are so high," I was like, "Whoa, hey, wait, what?" And then I had to think, no, this is a 7-year-old who's super sweet and innocent. So, and then another one was when students write and they can't remember something and then they just make up their own thing. So one of my students, and this was like years ago, he was writing a story and he needed to write the word "that," but he couldn't remember the 2 letters that make the "th" sound, for that. And so he drew the emoji of the person with their hands up in the air.
Oh my God.
Like, I don't know. And then AT. And so I pulled him over and I was like, "Hey, what word is this?" And he goes, "Well, I couldn't remember. So that's I don't know. And then at." And I'm like,
Look at that creativity.
That
Yeah.
is hilarious.
so that was hugely funny to me. And then just the other day, my student was trying to write the word several and he wrote 7 Earl, like the number 7.
Oh.
And then Earl.
Several.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
That's creative.
when you don't know how to write something, you just like, "Oh, well, that word sounds like 7. So I'm going to start with that." And then
Yeah.
I love it. Problem solving.
hieroglyphics sometimes. It's like,
Hey, whatever works.
just pictures is fine. Just get it
Yeah.
on paper.
And he got his point across.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like throughout the years, we've had so many words because we try to, have them be independent and sound out words. So throughout the years, we've had many words that are not supposed to be spelled that way then turn into different words, and you're like, oh. I have an example of my daughter. She was in first grade, and she wrote about riding a bike, and I think the sentence was, I ride a bike. But she had her B's and D's mixed up. And
the long I, that's
yeah,
tricky.
she did CK, I think, not KE.
Oh dear.
So the B became a D, and then the CK. Yeah, so she didn't ride a bike that day, did she?
Oh, yikes. Okay.
Yeah, she has no idea about this. Well, if she's
so
listening,
innocent.
you wrote
I
that in
love
first grade, Addie.
Do you know what's funny, though? I feel like if I had $1 for every time a kid wrote the sentence, I like to ride a bike.
It's not the first time.
But it didn't actually say bike. Like, that's a very common.
That is a very common one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's what I love is that they're so innocent. They don't know.
You're like, good
but
job.
It brings us so much joy.
we got to find our joy somewhere.
All right. Speaking of bringing some joy, so in first grade, we used to do module writing prompts. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I just pulled this up. Module 7's prompt asked for students to think about someone who's special and why they're special, and then write a poem about what makes this person so special. Well, I mean, poems don't always have to rhyme, so let's just keep that in mind, okay? So
let's hear it.
This is not
First
a rhyming
grader
poem. First grader.
Okay.
Gigi, you buy Roblox for me. Be cool. You cheat and you eat cheese.
It's beautiful.
So the next time I saw Gigi, I was like, so do I need to not play board games with you? And she's like, what? And I was like, sounds like you cheat when you play games. But look at the picture. He even has the picture, and next to Gigi it says I win. And she's like, got
I
her
feel like I
hands
could
up in
see
the
her doing
air.
that, though.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is so funny. I love it.
I did send that to
I
her
love that.
back in the day.
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh, this one's really cute too. Do you remember when we used to write about if I were president?
Mm-hmm.
So this one says, if I were president, I would throw candy off the roof.
Aw.
And it's a little picture of him on, I think that's the Capitol building.
Yeah.
It is. That's
Oh.
really good.
Yeah, and we've got some candy being thrown off
I love
off
it.
the roof.
Off the
The
roof.
woof.
My favorite is seeing writing in the hallway
Yes.
and seeing the kids spelling. It's just the cutest thing ever.
Do you guys ever watch Mr. D and when he reads
Yes.
children's
They're funny.
writings and he reads it phonetically?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
hilarious.
You know what my favorite is during parent teacher conferences when you're showing a parent the writing and you have it upside down to you and the writing is not spelled correctly, it's spelled phonetically and you're able to read the sentence. It's like
That's
a
my
magic
Olympic
trick.
sport, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
parents look at you like, wow.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, I know it's a talent.
I know. Kindergarten's a little different this year. I have not been able to show my talent like I have in the past in first grade. I would not get a gold medal in reading kindergartners writing. So I'm just like, I don't know what it says, but they were writing. So that's all that's
awesome.
all I asked them to do.
Okay, I have one more. I think we were working on adjectives. Are you ready? I eat bacon at a feast because I just can't resist it. It is so juicy.
That's a big pice of bacon.
Doesn't that look so
Girl
good?
Drew.
She's
Yeah.
like,
hilarious.
heck yeah, let me get some bacon.
I love bacon.
Cute.
I like bringing food to my lessons, especially in writing. And so I did the how-to writing with the Jell-O and then the Swedish fish. I've done how-to writing with how to make chocolate milk. I've done writing with cookies because I love cookies and using adjectives and stuff to describe cookies. So I feel like that really works for me and the kids have a blast. And so, like I said, the trick is trying to make it fun for them. So
That's your hook.
bringing yummy food and also a good story, a good mentor text
Yeah.
really helps with the writing. And then one other thing, I love Piggy and Gerald and the pigeon books. So I think one writing topic was, I think I had a picture of Piggy and Gerald and I just said, write a story about them. And because I've read those books so many times, this was in first grade, they were able to just take off with that story and wrote some really good stuff.
All right, controversy time.
Bring it on.
Cursive handwriting. Should we teach it or should we not?
Yes. I love cursive. My kids love cursive. My students, even in kindergarten, say, I wrote my name in cursive. And I say,
No, you didn't.
that's not cursive, but nice try. No, I don't say that. I say, oh, that is so cool. I think it's fun. I think it's fun for them.
I think we should, but we don't have time in the day. Like I
Yeah.
have tried in second grade. We have resources to teach them how to do cursive, but it's again at the end of the day when it's between, do I teach them cursive or do I teach them the structure of how to write? And they're not going to be doing a lot of paper pencil writing in their future that I can foresee. And I'm trying to prepare them for the real world. I have to go with just getting the ideas down and then trying to get that onto the computer in a document more than trying to get them to now write that in cursive. And that pains me to say because I love cursive handwriting. And I do have a bit of a confession.
Go
I
for
don't know
it.
if you guys know this.
Oh, dear.
Yeah,
Have you never been taught how to write in cursive?
Did you win an award?
I did.
What?
In third grade, Mrs. Betcher was my third grade teacher. We all gathered together for an end of the year assembly. You can fact check me on this. Gathered as a third grade class. Like, so not just Mrs. Betcher's class, but like
All of third grade.
Yeah. All
Okay.
of third grade. And they said, we have an award for attendance. We have an award for most improved. We had, like, they were giving out awards. They maybe had 10 awards. One of them was the penmanship award.
They just made that up.
No, I had the most beautiful handwriting in third grade.
Cursive or print?
It was print, but my teacher would often have to tell me, Allison, you have to stop trying to be perfect and just get your ideas down, because I would sit there and just try to make my letters look so pretty. I have a bump on my finger
do too.
because of all of the writing that I did
Yeah. Oh,
as
wow.
a kid.
That is a bump
Wait.
on your
Yeah,
finger.
like my
Is that what that is?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's from writing. Because we used to have to write all the time when we were in elementary
like
school.
my finger is
we didn't have
deformed from
Chromebooks.
writing. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Well, I'm proud of you, Allison. Good job.
That's amazing.
I mean, I don't still have the certificate, but I was like so excited that I got, like, I never won it. I was like the average student, right? So for me to get my name called up and go up, it's like,
Got a
for
girl.
you. The second grade teachers from our old school, the teachers that were there prior to us and were there for a little bit when we were there, they taught cursive to our second graders. And one teacher, because what you said, Allison, you don't have time to teach it, she would also write cursive on the board. So they might not be doing a lesson on writing in cursive, but whatever she wrote on the board, and it was a chalkboard, it was in cursive.
Yeah. And that's how Kaylin learned how to write in cursive. And she has beautiful cursive handwriting now.
Here's another handwritten or typed. For your students, what are you going to teach them?
Handwritten.
Mine are
At
handwritten.
this age. At this age, at K1 too.
Yeah.
Handwritten first, because that has to be in place before you can go on the computer. But computer too.
I would say in second grade, there's a transition from, like, at the beginning of the year, it is all handwritten. And there is a lot of science of learning behind that. Like when you're writing with a pencil, you are using different parts of your brain than when you're typing on a computer.
Yeah.
And that when you're writing things out, that it actually helps the comprehension
Solidify
better, than on a computer. So I'm always like, yes, handwritten, but at the same time, I feel like I'm doing a disservice to my students if I'm not getting them on the computer at least midway year, because in third grade, they have to take standardized tests on the computer typing. And if they don't have that ability to do that, then they don't get to show what they know.
There are typing standards.
I know.
Yeah, I feel kind of bad for students in the sense that their cognitive demand with writing is just forming the letters, making the sentence. Come mid-second grade or whatever, third grade, now you have to type something. And, you know, our keyboards or the letters are all over the place. So now they have to learn how to find the letters, how to type it, all of that. I mean, yes, it's possible, but I think I learned how to type in 7th grade.
I was in high school
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
I took a
High
school
typing
class.
class.
Yeah.
So it's just surprising to me that our kids in elementary, starting in third grade, that they have to know how to type.
Yeah. They're just getting handwriting
Yeah.
better.
But again, we haven't taught them explicit and systematic ways to type. And so they're
Yeah.
pecking at it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, we need to have time in our day. In a perfect world, we would have time in our day for teaching cursive and teaching how to type and writing
Well, yeah.
on paper and pencil.
Because there's a cognitive demand that's placed on them just trying to find the letters, and they're taking so long to type. Whereas, like, when I took the typing class in high school, I had to memorize where all the keys were, so I don't have to think about it when I go to type something, right?
Yeah.
So
There is a program that we use in our district. I offer it as a may do at get this
same.
done for reading, and then over here you can hop on
It's
to
typing
this.
club.
Yeah. There's also Typetastic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, and they teach them like the home row. And there was the other day, they had to go BBOO, BBOO, and they had to go back and forth between those two letters. But when I walked by, you know what it looked like. And I was like, what are you doing? And I was
I'm
ready.
practicing my letter.
And they're like, I have to put 2 B's and then 2 O's and then 2 B's going back and forth between those two letters. And I was like, yeah.
Good
I mean,
job.
I meant to say, you are killing it, kiddo. Keep going. And so I was like, oops. So, yeah. But they do have some resources, but it's not like a
class.
Yeah.
Like that's what I did in 7th grade. It was a typing class, just like what Kelsey did.
rapid fire questions. Think about, what do you prefer when you are writing? Ready? Pencil or pen?
Pen.
Pen.
pencil,
Lined paper or blank paper?
Lined.
Both.
lined,
Narrative or informative?
narrative,
Information.
I'm going to go with narrative.
Typed or handwritten?
Handwritten.
handwritten,
Generate it yourself or use AI?
Myself.
Both.
myself.
Poetry, love it or leave it?
Leave it.
Can there be a
Is there a maybe?
Can there be a like it? Leave it or like it? I don't want to leave it, but I don't love it either.
Okay, you're allowed.
Like it.
Yeah, I'm in the middle.
Silent writing or quiet music?
Music.
Music.
Silent. When I'm writing. But in my classroom, I do like some soft music.
Nice.
Okay.
All right. Well, we've laughed about kid writing, shared some writing tips with you, and at the end of the day, writing is about communication. It's about giving our students the tools to tell their own stories and share their ideas. So we hope you can take some of these ideas back to your classroom and keep turning those blank pages into something amazing.
All right, listeners on the loose, your challenge this week is to pick one piece of student writing and find a glow, a specific moment where that student's voice really shined, and share it with them.
Then share it with us. Tag us on Instagram at Teachers on the Loose or on TikTok at TeachersOTL and share your story. You just might hear about it on a future episode.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us today. And remember, every student has a story worth telling, and you are the one helping them find the words.
So grab your favorite pen and meet us back here next week on Teachers on the Loose.
This is Teachers on the Loose.
So let's start with a check-in. On a scale of 1 to 10, how writer's blocked is your brain this week?
So I would say that I am a 10, very blocked.
Oh.
I feel like I'm sounding like I'm constipated. I'm pretty backed up.
prune juice.
I am blocked. I am backed up. Like, the plumbing is not working over here.
Oh my god. Okay, rapid fire. What is your preference when you go to write something?
I like to write it down.
No, you have to let her.
And there's no explaining. God, listen to the rules.
Directions.
She's like, I got this.
Go for it, Kelsey.
Okay.
When I'm writing, what do I prefer? Got it.
Okay, rapid fire questions. Think about, what do you prefer when you are writing? Ready? Pencil or paper?
What?
Pencil.
Oh, sorry.
I like to write with a pencil more than writing with the paper.
Pen.
I screwed that up. My bad.
Definitely write with the pencil.
It's so
It's
like
too hard
natural
to write with
come
a
out of
paper.
your mouth. The pencil and paper. Okay, pencil and paper. Okay, I'm sorry.
So, okay, try again.
Whoop.